Backyard farm, and this is probably about the 28th of January in 2018, and I saw online a way to make nuke boxes out of a sheet of plywood. Sorry you can't hear me too well. I'm losing my voice because I've had a cold. You buy one sheet of plywood. I can't scream, Ruthie. Sorry. You'll have to get closer if you want me to hear me. You buy one sheet of 1/2 inch plywood, and you can make 4 of these nuke boxes. Right now I got this one taped off, but what they are is you can catch swarms of bees in them or start nucleus hives. That's what nuke means. For all you people that are beekeepers, you know what I'm talking about. Let me just set this down and I'll show you what I did for a jig. Not really a jig, but I made a piece. I already cut this out of one sheet of plywood. This is all one sheet of plywood. You got the sides, you got the top, the bottoms, and the front and back. And these will be the strips for hanging the frames on. Alright, so what I did to ready myself for this, and this is just using my table saw. I made up a wooden jig that is 10 1/4 inches long, and I made a point where 9 inches is, 8 1/2, and 7 1/2, and that will cut up a whole sheet of plywood. So what I did is, for my first cut, I went to 10 1/4 like that, because that was the full length of this piece of wood, right up against the saw, and then I locked it in. Then we ran the plywood through it. You have to run the plywood through it twice for the 10 1/4. I don't know if you can see this, but you make 2 cuts at 10 1/4, and it'll give you all 8 sides. The 10 1/4 are the sideboards. Then you make a 9-inch cut, which gives you 4 pieces for the tops. Then you cut an 8 1/2 inch wide, which by that you would be going, each time you did it, you would go to the inside of the sawtooth to the arrow. And then you just bring your guard in, lock it in place, and make your next cut. So I got 9, 8 1/2, and 7 1/2. And the 8 1/2 will give you 4 pieces of bottoms, and the 7 1/2 will give you 8 pieces of fronts and backs. And then the extra end piece, which is this one here, you'll be cut them into to go across the front of the nuke box, which this isn't made that way. Well, yeah, it is, only this is wider. These are like 4 inches. Will give you the lip to set your frames onto. Alright, and then all you have to do is drill your holes in the front. What I'm going to use is, I ordered some of the gate, the spiral gates, the circle gates that you put a screw into, and then you can either turn it to an opening or a vented area, so you can close the thing. And that's what I'm going to put on the front of mine. Will be right here.
So what was the cost of it? The beauty of it?
The cost of it is 1 sheet of plywood, which, depending on where you're at, we went to Lowe's and it cost $25 for the sheet of plywood. So if you divide that by 4, that's the cost of each one of your nukes. You can either screw them together. Always make sure you glue them though. And you want to use a good water resistant glue, like Tight Bond or something like that. Then you can either drill them and put screws in there, or you can use a stapler, air gun stapler, or brad staples, and put them all together. Then just paint the outside of them, then weatherproof them a little better. Excuse me. To weatherproof them, and you've got 4 nuke boxes for the price of $25, which comes to about, all right, half would be
What about $6?
$12.50, be about 6 1/4.
Yeah.
$6 1/4 for a nuke box, and that's pretty cheap if you're going to use them to catch swarms or start nucleus hives. So, you know, this is the first phase of what I'm doing. Now what I've got to do is I've got to cut them into the pieces that I need for the lengths of the sides and whatnot. So this will be part 1, and after I cut all the pieces out and start putting things together and gluing them, we'll do another video for part 2. Okay? All right, this is Clay from Popel's Backyard Farm, and hopefully this is enlightening to you, and you can make your own nuke boxes for a little or nothing. $6 is pretty cheap when you have to pay $20 to $30 just to have a nuke box. When you're buying bees, sometimes you have to pay a deposit, and it could be anywhere from $20 to $30 deposit. Then you got to take the nuke box back. But if you bring your own nuke box when you go to get your bees, it's not costing you anything but that 6 1/4 a box that you put them together and made them. And once you make 4 or 5 of them, or make 20 of them, they're yours to keep. Okay, this is Clay from Popel's Backyard Farm, so enjoy us again. Bye-bye.